Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. So we check in with the jet stream here on Tuesday morning. We're watching kind of zonal flow across the United States here, and it's a pretty active pattern, a progressive pattern. We're watching an upper-level trough in this region that's keeping things cooler and a little bit wet here across the Northeast region to start the week. We've got this trough here that's bringing a reinforcing shot of some milder, less humid air to parts of the Midwest. But ultimately, we're going to be heading back toward a warmer pattern over the next week or so across the Northeast region. So you look at the next 10 days, temperature forecast here, temperature anomalies. First 5 days are on the left side, and that is where we see those cooler temperatures here across the Northeast region. Then, as I promised, in the 5 to 10 day time frame, looking at warmer temperatures returning to the Northeast region. The pattern right now, we're going to keep it close to average here, maybe some isolated wet spots here in the week 1 forecast. Same story, though, across week 2, if not just a little bit wetter here across the Northeast region as we really pump into or move into a pattern. It's going to be pumping some moisture into the region. A couple wild cards, though, so this is a bit of an uncertain forecast as we head into the week 2 time frame. The last 24 hours of precipitation, we've seen some very heavy precipitation across parts of the Corn Belt. Unfortunately, just a little bit south of where we really need to see it, across parts of central Iowa into central Illinois and northern Illinois into parts of Indiana. These are the areas that need the rain the most here across the middle part of the country. So you look towards the northwest, or the northeast, we're seeing some streaks there from some showers and storms over the last 24 hours, and that's about what we'll be looking at as we head through the next day or two. Last 60 days of precipitation departure from normal. Again, watching some dry spots here across central parts of the Northeast region, wetter across the state of Pennsylvania, and wetter as you head off to the north. As we look towards the Corn Belt, again, here is that wet corridor, or that dry corridor, that we're looking at from parts of Iowa into Illinois and Indiana. The satellite picture here on Tuesday morning, here are the very cold cloud tops from these thunderstorms across parts of the central and eastern Corn Belt. Patchy cloudiness as we look off towards the Northeast region. And as we take a look underneath those clouds, looking at the radar picture here across the lower 48, again seeing heavy thunderstorm activity across the Ohio River Valley, but as we look off towards the northeast, we're really just seeing some light, isolated, scattered showers. So you look at the surface map here, Tuesday morning, again watching this frontal boundary stalled across the region. This is what's going to be keeping rain and thunderstorms in the forecast here across the Northeast region over the next 24 to 48 hours. This little wave dropping out of the Canadian prairie, that's what's bringing the reinforcing shot of some cooler and drier air into parts of the eastern Corn Belt, and eventually going to get a reinforcing shot of that here in the Northeast region as well. Looking at the high-resolution rapid refresh model, this is going to take us through the next day and a half. Of course, watching in the Northeast region, you're going to see scattered showers popping up as we head through the afternoon hours. Here we go. Some thunderstorms included with that. Let's go ahead and step back, watching on Tuesday morning now, starting as the sun comes up. Heading into the midday, mid-afternoon, that's when we really start to see some of that precipitation lighting up in this corridor here in the form of some scattered showers and storms. Those should begin to wane and move off to the east as we head into the overnight hours. Still keeping some rain in the forecast, though, as we get into the day on Wednesday, at least in coastal areas here of the Northeast region. We can take this out a bit further, looking at the next 3 days here, the high-resolution NAM model. Let's go ahead, we'll bring it back starting on Tuesday morning. Again, we head into the afternoon, seeing those scattered showers and storms popping up, mainly over eastern areas, eastern and southern areas, I guess I would say, part of the state of Pennsylvania. You're going to see some scattered showers and storms today as we head into the overnight, and then Wednesday morning, that's when we'll be keeping the coastal areas in the forecast here. Southeastern portions of the Northeast region, maybe seeing some scattered showers and storms on Wednesday, but really drying out as we head into the later part of the week. The total accumulated precipitation from that high-resolution NAM model, again, you can see it, the scattered nature across the Northeast region. Some people are going to get downpours here. Other people are going to be absolutely missed here. So not a pattern over the next day or two that's really going to be soaking everybody. Severe weather forecast for the next 3 days. Generally a pretty low risk, not really talking about severe weather here in the Northeast region. Maybe southern areas seeing a strong storm today. This is the forecast Tuesday, and then we got Wednesday and Thursday. You notice the lack of the severe weather threat here, the lack of the thunderstorms even being forecast across the Northeast region as we head into the mid to late parts of the week. Now, where are we headed from here? We're looking at the European model, 500 millibar height anomalies. This is the upper level trough that's keeping us cooler and rainy today. This is the little wave that's bringing the reinforcing shot of some milder, less humid air to the Corn Belt. We'll go ahead and we'll play this out, though, because we are seeing a pattern change here as we head into the next week. We'll watch this wave kind of, clip off to the southeast, east-southeast, bringing that reinforcing shot of less humid air into the Corn Belt and then eventually into the Northeast region, keeping us cooler as we head into the mid-late parts of the week. But as we start heading through the weekend and then making our way into next week, we're starting to see some ridging now across the Northeast region. That's going to allow us to warm up as we head into the weekend, possibly beyond. Once we get into early next week, though, I've got very low confidence in what these models are spitting out. We're seeing big changes with each model run, and part of that is due in part to this little wave coming up from the Gulf Coast early next week, and the model's really struggling to kind of handle what's going on with that. You notice the overall pattern broadly suggesting ridging across the central U.S., at least the western 2/3 of the United States, but really broad ridging across the entire lower 48. But this wave potentially coming up from the Gulf Coast could have impacts here across the eastern Corn Belt and parts of the Northeast region here, perhaps introducing some cooler, overcast, rainy conditions in what would otherwise be a warmer pattern. So we've got conflicting ideas as we get into the 7 to 10 day time frame. It does look like we'll be heading towards a warmer pattern, at least for some, as we head into the weekend and early next week. Looking at the wind speeds at 500 millibars, this is where we can pick out some of our short waves, some of the players here that bring the clouds and the precipitation. As we start the day on Tuesday, now we're watching this little wave right here tracking through the northeast region. Not a little wave, I guess I would say. This is a much more significant wave pushing through the region here. That's what's bringing the thunderstorms here as we start off the week, bringing the reinforcing shot of some cooler air as we head into the mid to late part of the week. And then shifting towards a warmer pattern as we head into the weekend and into beyond that into the middle part of next week. This will be more clear as we look at the temperature anomaly forecast here, starting off with warmer conditions right now in advance of this wave. We'll go ahead and we'll step through time with this one as well once we get the scroller to show up here. There we go. Let's bring it back to Tuesday, dealing with warmer conditions. The front moves through here. Rain comes to an end. We see a period of cooler weather here Wednesday, Thursday, and for part of Friday. By the time we get to the weekend, this is when we're starting to see some warmer temperatures moving into the Northeast region. Temperatures anywhere 5 to 10 degrees above average as we move through the weekend. Heading into early next week, keeping those warmer temperatures in the forecast. And this is where we get to the uncertainty introduced here. I'm all the way to Tuesday of next week, August 20th. Remember, the jet stream's doing something like this, broad ridging. We should be seeing a warmer pattern across a huge chunk of the north, or the entire lower 48, and we are seeing that, except right here where I said there was that question mark, potentially a system moving in from the Gulf here, bringing some clouds, rain, and cooler temperatures to the region. Very low confidence in where this sets up, though. This is a huge wild card in what is an otherwise warm pattern across the United States. The instability forecast here, this will kind of convey the thunderstorm forecast or the lack thereof across the Northeast region. As we head through the middle part of the week, very low instability in the forecast. Again, maybe some marginal values here across parts of Pennsylvania. I said on Tuesday afternoon and evening, a very low risk for a strong storm across southern portions of the Northeast region across Pennsylvania. As we head through the end of the week, though, seeing generally milder and stable conditions. It's not until we get to the weekend we start to bring some instability back into the region. This could bring a thunderstorm threat back into the region as we get into the weekend and early next week. We'll look at the precipitation forecast then starting on Tuesday. Here we see that shower and thunderstorm activity that's going to be making its way through the region here on Tuesday. We'll go ahead and we'll stop. We'll bring this back. We'll step through time with it once we get the scroller to show up. There it is. Coming back to Tuesday, going through Wednesday and Thursday. Now we see the rain moving out of the area for the most part, perhaps some showers lingering across parts of Pennsylvania Thursday and Friday. And then as we get into the weekend, we bring instability back into the region, perhaps a wave or two of showers and storms moving through the Northeast region here. I've said we would keep it near average, if not a little bit above average in some isolated spots. And a lot of that comes from this weekend precipitation. Now here you go. Here's the wild card. We look down towards the Gulf Coast. We also see a little bit of a system here across parts of the Midwest. And watch what happens as this makes its way through. We see things kind of stalling out in this region with precipitation and cloud cover in that area. And that, again, beneath this ridge, what should be a hot and dry pattern across this region, perhaps a different story here with this wild card moving into parts of the Corn Belt, parts of the Northeast region. Total accumulated precipitation then from the European model will just play this out. And again, there you see plenty of opportunities, especially towards the end of this loop right there, stacking up this over the weekend and into early next week. perhaps an inch to 2 inches of precipitation for a lot of folks here across the Northeast region over the next week or so. Side by side, the European and the GFS, pretty good agreement here. To be honest with you, we'll have to watch how the system unfolds here as we get into early next week with the European and the GFS model. But right now, keeping a corridor of precipitation across the central and eastern Corn Belt into the Northeast region that looks very similar on both the European model on the left and the GFS model over on the right. Taking a look now at the temperature forecast, we'll just close it out here over the next 5 days. Keeping it cooler and rainy here to start things off. High temperatures in the 70s for many here for the day on Tuesday and Wednesday. Similar story Thursday. We don't start warming up till we get to the weekend here Friday. And Saturday starting to bring 80s back into the region. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video. And I'll have your next look at the Northeast region on Thursday morning. Have a great day.